Welcome to episode 164 of the Campus Comics Cast, and as we record this, it is the 4th of July, so hopefully you put out your red, white, and blue cookies for Captain America last night and had a friendly visit. But for now, I'm Scott Reed, and I'm joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison
and Chad Schubert.
And of course, this is July, so it's time for previews. But before we jump into previews, we are going to do a quick hot take, I guess, on a few things that have recently been introduced. The Flash, of course, made it into theaters. We now have a trailer for Kraven. And I don't know, I'll talk a little bit about Secret Invasion, not a whole heck of a lot. So, all right. So, initial impressions, Mike, on The Flash.
You know, it's so hard to talk about these things. It's increasingly hard to talk about these things because despite your preview one-word review last episode where you said it was awful, I was like, okay, there's got to be something redeeming about it. So it just made me revert back to my this is not Barry Allen mode. It's not
Barry Allen. It's not Wally West.
It's not even Wally West.
Yeah,
it's not even this. The younger, and I know this is truly a hot take. I didn't organize any thoughts about this. It's not like I didn't fall asleep during a movie. I didn't completely not enjoy it, but the younger Barry Allen was so annoying that that laugh of his, I just thought, are they doing this on purpose? Do they think that's funny? There were jokes that maybe if they were more subtle could have landed better. There were some jokes that there was just too many jokes to begin with, but then some were just stupid, when they were in the apartment and he cleaned up, put all his stuff in closets, and then they fell out of the closet. It was like a second-rate sitcom type joke. I just feel there's no gravity to these movies anymore, with an exception toward the end, when the more normal Barry, I guess you'd say, was, setting things right in the timeline and undoing what he did to save his mom. That seemed to have a little bit of poignancy. I mean, that felt a little bit more real. I seem to be focusing on all the bad things. It wasn't completely bad. I don't know where I would rate it. I guess we'll talk about that. But
okay, so to talk about some positive things, Supergirl was outstanding in this show. She knocked it out of the park. I didn't even look up the actress's name just to see who that was. But and I've seen her, popping up on social media feeds and some things like that. But she was awesome. I'm looking forward to. I hope they hold on to this character since that was a alternate timeline. There is no reason not to say, okay, this is going to be our Supergirl in the gun verse or whatever, however we want to refer to that. So she was outstanding. And then I was personally really surprised by Michael Keaton. I expected his stuff to be campy and over the top, a little bit. And, even though it felt like the 1989, he felt like he was an older version of the Batman 1989. It felt exactly like it was supposed to. So I was really, really pleased with the Michael Keaton scenes. But basically, everything else was pretty much garbage. Sasha
Calle,
Calle, Calle, is the actress who played Supergirl, and I'm, wow, her acting props include The Young and the Restless. So
yeah, that's where I know her from. My wife watches that religiously, and
your wife, air quotes.
I'm sort of I'm a peripheral watcher because I know enough to ask her questions about what's Jack doing now.
Yeah. So Shad, what were your thoughts on?
Well, I'll start by saying I don't know a lot of like Barry Allen's characteristics as a character, right? So I'm going into it with a completely clean slate, which you could probably say most of the world doesn't have a general understanding of the character. I liked the movie. I thought that it was very entertaining. I think that one of the things that we trip on or want to have a little bit more weight to, I'm kind of seen as like, we have to write movies now because they're not as big and profitable. They have to write a movie that fits so many different genres in order to be even considered to have a chance of being successful, that you have to write an action comedy superhero romance movie in order to go, let's see if this works. And so that's what we get. And I think that's what we get with Guardians. That's what we get with a lot of the superhero movies now, is that they don't take as many risks because they're like, there's a chance that this multi-billion-dollar movie could just crash and not do anything, which this one seems like it is not doing anything. But I enjoyed it. I thought that it was there wasn't a lot of negative points for me, especially not understanding the Barry Allen character to go like, that's not how he would behave. I really like Ezra Miller as an actor. I know that there's some complicated things that go on with that person that kind of, but outside of that, just as an actor, I've always enjoyed Ezra Miller stuff. And so I really, I thought it was a good summer kind of blockbuster movie that was just had a lot of cool things going on. A lot of people who aren't overly comic book people that I'm friends with have really enjoyed this movie and have been the positive reviews that I've heard. And it's been like, oh, okay, let's see what that's like. And I thought both Batmans were awesome. The Ben Affleck Batman was like the most Batman that I've wanted out of Ben Affleck. Like, I really enjoyed his scenes. And then, Michael Keaton was just like picking up 89 Batman like nothing had really changed except for time as they gotten older.
Mm-hmm. I agree with I think where it suffers from the perspective of someone like me and Scott is, especially if I know I've been reading DC comics since I was knee high to a grasshopper, and I think I do get hung up a little bit on those little details. But I liked Ezra Miller in that role in Justice League better than a lot of other people did. I kind of was able to get past it because I think the writing might have been better. So it's not Ezra Miller. I think he's got the charisma. I think he's got the acting chops. I just think the way he was written in this movie was like, this movie started how many years ago? It's like it's been stretched out. The creative process has been stretched out and so thin that maybe it suffers a bit from that disjointedness. Yeah. But
conversely, they had lots of opportunities to make it better and they didn't.
Sure. That's another way of looking at it. Yeah. I love it's just fan service, but when it was one of the big redeeming qualities or factors was all of the multiverse appearances. I'm sure we can talk about those, everything from Nicolas Cage to Christopher Reeve to George Reeves to
Henry Cavill.
I liked, and then, the big one at the end, I won't even spoil it yet, but I think that really I thought that was great. I did.
I hated that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did not expect it, maybe, is why I thought it was great, because, well, I guess we can just say it then. Why?
Yeah, go ahead.
George Clooney, at the very end, he's just wrapping things up with he's got sort of a relationship with Bruce Wayne, which is sort of a through line of the movie, and most of it's through phone calls or some kind of connection. And throughout the movie, it was always the Ben Affleck Batman or Bruce Wayne. And then at the end, you're expecting it again to be Ben Affleck, but who pulls up in the Porsche or whatever it is, but George Clooney. And I did not expect that at all. I was like, I geeked out just a tiny bit on that one.
Well, see, I don't understand people getting excited about that, because the Clooney Batman movie was awful. So it's like, why are we getting excited about, him coming back?
It's nostalgia.
It's nostalgia.
It's nostalgia for crap. Why are we getting nostalgic for?
They could have had Val Kilmer in there.
That was a better movie.
I just I think for me the nostalgia outweighs. I don't go back and watch that George Clooney Batman movie, but I don't maybe my memory's not as vivid about some of that to really cause me to have a problem with it.
So I don't know. It's like this Flashpoint storyline really has been done, I guess, 3 times now. You had it in the comic, you had it in the CW series, and then you had it here in this movie. And it was of those 3, this is the worst of those 3 versions of the story. One of the things that really bugged me is that the Barry Allen that had his mother growing up was worse off than the Barry that didn't have his mother growing up, and that bothered me quite a bit.
I hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah, so it's just like he is even more worthless than. It's like it should be the exact opposite. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of, again, the superhero movies primarily being comedies. And what was the deal with how he ran? It's like this arm flapping thing, pointing fingers, whatever. He has to stop and pose dramatically and prep to take off. And it's like the Flash would have that done in the amount of time that he's standing there posing, right? So it's and then the lasso scene with Wonder Woman and Batwoman and Flash, that was just ignorant, right? Because one, Bruce Wayne does not have those confidence problems that are implied from that scene. It's just and the Aquaman post-credit scene.
We shouldn't even talk about it. That was the worst post-credit scene in the history of post-credit scenes.
Okay, and thank you.
I don't even want to talk about it. So back to the movie.
Oh my.
It was part of the movie though. So that, if you want to go out on a down note, that was for sure taking it on a down note for me. So
completely nonsensical.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, okay.
I didn't mind seeing Wonder Woman show up because all you got to do is play that. You play her music and I'm like pumped. I mean,
Yep. No, I was fine with her showing up. I just did not like the lasso of truth scene. I just playing just for laughs,
But I laughed.
Well, okay.
It was more funny in Justice League when Aquaman sat on it. That was kind of funny. Bruce Wayne just isn't. That's not his character.
No, that is not his character at all. So
but we are not listed as subject matter experts on these movies like we like to pretend sometimes. So.
All right, who wants to grade it first? I'll go first. I've already got my grade written down. So I gave it a good / very good, which sounds like a decent rating, but that's a 3.0. So this is borderline right there with Aquaman and the first Suicide Squad movie with me. I'm really now in this debate about which of these are the worst. I don't think this is the worst because Supergirl and Michael Keaton were so good. I probably gave it a point just for their performances in this that it otherwise wouldn't deserve. Oh, and the Zod stuff was good too. So.
Oh yeah, Michael Shannon. I mean, you can't really deny that.
Yeah.
I'll go next. I'm going to give it a 5.0, which is what very good, fine.
Very good, fine. Yep.
It's. There was it could have been lower, but there was some redeeming factors that
I counted the redeeming stuff.
Yeah, I'm just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at a 5.0.
Oh, you guys are not gonna like my review.
You can just be wrong. You can just be wrong.
I'll be wrong. I gave it an 8.0. Very fine. Oh. I'm looking forward. I just watched it yesterday. I'm looking forward to watching it again. Actually, I thought it was very entertaining, and yeah, I don't know if I watch movies to critique them anymore. I watch them to be entertained and to go from there. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, see, I just wasn't entertained by this. I groaned so many times watching this movie that it was just it hurt me at points. So yeah.
I'd say that I could probably watch it again, and the grading might go up a bit. I think over time, because I remember leaving the theater on the first Suicide Squad movie and thinking it was fantastic. I mean, thinking it was really pretty good. And I don't think I wore such a critic's hat back then, or maybe looked at it through a different lens than I do now. So I think that plays a role. But yeah, I it's not like I would never watch it again. I just
well, I'm not gonna say I'd never watch it again. I've rewatched Aquaman, and you know what I think about that movie. So, I mean, I will at some point watch this again, but it just, it's gonna be noise in the background. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be like
I think
Winter Soldier or Endgame where I want to sit down and watch it again. I'll just have it on in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a matter of relativity. We've seen so many good superhero movies with that level of gravitas, like this last Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought had that. You see what they can be, and then when something comes up that doesn't meet that standard, it pushes everything down farther. And I just I don't know. I think the whole idea of these superhero movies is starting to wear on me a little bit, and especially when I know that some of my favorite characters in my life, in my reading life, are not given the treatment I think they could get. Yeah.
This also puts a big negative because Gunn came out and talked about, we're going to release this movie. It's great, blah, blah, blah. And if this is his opinion of a great movie, then I'm not. That puts a little bit of downtrend on what I expect from him moving forward. So
that's had to be spin. He had to say something positive. He couldn't come out and say.
But then that means he's going to be towing the company line as he makes these upcoming movies. If he's towing the company line now at the start where he has the most opportunity to make a difference, then he's going to be towing the company line all the way through.
For a movie that was already made, he has to toe the line, I think.
I don't think so. He could have said, hey, this wasn't me. This is garbage. Like, we should have wrote this one off, is what he should have been saying. Let's release Batgirl.
What is interesting though is this did feel like an ending. It felt like an ending to the universe. It gave a nice bookend in a way that Aquaman 2 is coming out for what reason?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, and that's not because of how I feel about Aquaman movies at all. It just doesn't make sense in the narrative of the company and they're releasing. Yep. They've already said Blue Beetle is going to exist in the new DCU, but Aquaman is part of the DCEU, and it is just sitting out there in December?
November, I think.
November, and it's just like.
Yeah. No, you're right. December. You're December.
This doesn't make a lick of sense as far as it's just going to confuse the audience.
I was going to say something mean, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. All right, moving on. Okay. Kraven trailer. The official Kraven trailer is now out. I had a chance to watch it just right before we started recording. And I am not super impressed with this trailer. It looks like it's just gonna be a African safari movie, so
yeah,
with a little bit of mob connection. So they're gonna have to give me a little bit more here out of this. It's got Russell Crowe in it, which I didn't realize. I hadn't really been reading anything on this. I hope he does a better job than he did in Thor. Playing Zeus. And it looks like we're gonna get the Rhino again. So there you go.
Yeah, I thought this has an angle where it doesn't have to be a superhero movie, which is always weird when they could throw this as it's completely outside of all of that, but then they're gonna throw the Rhino in and they're gonna pull it in that angle. So it feels like it's going to be a mixed. It's not going to quite know where it fits in things, which I have a feeling that a lot of the Sony Spider Universe movies, as they offshoot them, are going to feel that same way. Is like, where does this fit in the middle of everything? Venom kind of felt that same way, and it was clearly a superhero movie. I mean, I don't know much about the character. I always thought that Kraven was an older man, so I guess maybe this is like an origin story. Obviously. It has potential to do okay because it's got a good-looking guy with the shirt off, and everybody will want to go see him fight. I guess maybe I don't know.
You might be able to get the significant other to go with you for
yes,
once.
Yeah.
Is what can possibly happen. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Mike?
Hot take. It doesn't put me off at all. I think I might enjoy this movie. Sometimes I think it's, even if Sony doesn't have, I don't know, their past movies haven't always landed perfectly, but and I didn't even see the Venom movie. Or has there been two now?
There's been two.
Yeah, haven't seen either one. I don't see a problem with this. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. Anything with lions, I've got this irrational fear of big cats. So much so that I've looked at them on TikTok, and now that's what my feed is full of. People, so seeing this, I mean, literally just watched it for the first time before we started recording. Seeing this is like almost like I'll be compelled to watch this just so I can be scared of that whole lion attacking him scene. And it's you got to admit, it's kind of a different, I mean, a safari type thing. It seems like a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. Doesn't have a whole lot of technology. Got a little bit of that supernatural, bent to it, with him getting his super sensory powers from a drop of that lion's blood. I guess that's what was happening. George Clooney, Russell Crowe. I think he's now inherited the perpetual role as superhero father.
Or supervillain father.
Our supervillain father. I definitely hope he does a better job than what he did as Zeus, but I think he will. It won't be hard.
It won't be hard for him to do a better job.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Now, I really shouldn't blast it too much because in the preview, at least, there's not a whole lot of funny scenes. But again, also in the Flash preview, there wasn't a whole lot of comedy scenes. So who knows where it's gonna land, So
I wonder where. I mean, there was an announcements of a lot of the Marvel movies have been delayed because of the writer's strike, primarily, I guess. But I wonder how that affects this announcement or this trailer.
I think this is finished. So I was looking I'm on IMDb. I'm just scrolling down the page. Release date said is October 6th. So
yeah, it was a long enough trailer to assume it's pretty much done. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I will be seeing it. That's for sure. So. All right. Am I the only one who saw the first episode of Secret Invasion?
Yep.
Okay. So just real quick. A little bit of setup in that one because we have to kind of cover what happened from the Skrulls from Captain Marvel 30 years ago to now. But so far, it's been a little bit more serious, not played for laughs. Kind of just feels like a little bit of a spy series. I haven't watched the second episode yet, which is out. Actually, the third episode comes out tomorrow, so I'm almost a week behind watching. But I liked it so far. So not, the greatest thing I ever saw, but it is, workable. So there's a chance moving forward that it could be good, or they could really, really botch it. So, so just a quick hot take on Secret Invasion.
Does it have all the expected characters in it?
Yes, and some unexpected characters. So,
okay.
You've got, of course, Samuel L. Jackson. You've got Martin Freeman makes an appearance in it. Colby Smulders is in it. Let's see, who else was there that was kind of a bigger name? From previous shows. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but yeah. So and I think there are some more appearances that haven't happened yet. So that'll be showing up later on. So
okay,
nice.
And a surprise death at the end of the first episode. So anyway, not too
what a
sort
cliffhanger.
Yeah,
I know now. I kind of.
Now there you go. Need to see it. So all right. So this is previews episodes. Let's talk about previews. And as the case, we're gonna start with DC. Now, I think I primarily worked out of the Lunar catalog for the first time since Shad told me that it existed last time. And did not have hardly anything out of the Diamond catalog. But again, most of the stuff, the bigger name companies are now in the Lunar catalog and not so much in the Diamond catalog. So I think we're still going to go ahead and start with DC. One thing that was kind of nice was that in the Lunar catalog, they double number the DC pages. So you can actually reference both the Connect page, the DC Connect page, and the Lunar catalog page. So I got to scroll down to find DC though, so that's going to take me just a second. So let's see here. Where's my notes at on DC? Here we go. So page 1, Batman Day, right? Batman Day coming up. What is that? I can't remember what day it
September
is.
16th.
September 16th. So I like to order these books, especially the cheap ones that you can get bulk, right, to give out at Halloween. So I'll be ordering one or both of these, probably just one of them, to pass out at Halloween myself. But if so, put on your, hat when you were to go out and trick or treat. Which of these two books do you think you would rather have? The Batman Catwoman book or the Batman and the Joker book?
Batman Joker.
Batman Joker. Okay, all right. I'm trying to decide which one I'm gonna order. So maybe I'll get Batman Joker. So, all right. Page 3. Unless somebody wants to talk about page 2.
Just that on page 2 is the Batman Catwoman Gotham War Battle Lines is the beginning of the Gotham War event. That's
yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I had the wrong page number. So.
Oh. Gotcha.
Yeah. And of course, that means it's going to take over Batman and Catwoman for the next 2 months. So we're now going to have 4 months without a Batman, quote unquote, title, because we had Night Terrors, even though they're going back to the Batman numbering for these issues. 137, I think, is the Batman issue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it still is just part of this Gotham War storyline. So,
right. Well, this book breaks the rule for me of having too much punctuation in one title. You got Batman / Catwoman : the Gotham War : Battle Lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much for me.
It's becoming very, very common. So
I know.
And we've had Joker War, Gotham War,
the War of Riddles and Jokes or whatever.
Yeah. So lots of that here in Batman lately. So
yeah.
Page 6. We are getting a Batman and Robin series written by Joshua Williamson. So we got Bruce and Damian, Batman and Robin. So I don't know what to think about this. I'll probably wait and see if there are some good reviews. I might pick it up either in trade or digital down the road if it's any good. So
yeah, same here. I'm more interested in page 8.
Go ahead.
Birds of Prey, #1, written by Kelly Thompson. Might be her first work.
It is DC. Her first work at DC. Yep.
Okay. I don't know this artist Leonardo Romero offhand, but looking at the sample pages, it looks pretty clean. Mm-hmm. I've been hankering for a good Birds of Prey series for a while, so I'm definitely going to pick this up.
Okay, is it just me, or does Big Barda feel out of place in this group?
She's dipped in and out of the group in the past, but she's not what you would consider a street level hero. So no. I tend to agree.
She is such at a dramatic power level above these other characters. I mean, significantly, So it just seems a little odd to me. So.
And, of course, Harley Quinn is the obligatory, inclusion. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. And Zealot, I don't even know who that is.
So is Zealot the one with the swords?
The swords, I guess, yeah. She sort of looks like a gray-haired Katana.
I feel like Zealot is maybe part of like the Wildstorm universe.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to remember. I think that was a big reveal because I follow Kelly Thompson, and that was like the big, like, you would have never thought that. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm pulling in somebody from, I think it was Wildstorm."
That makes sense. Yeah, I think you are correct.
Okay.
I do like this image on page 9 where it's like some of the interior art, and you can like kind of follow like Batgirl like through multiple fight moves, and you can go and follow Black Canary through multiple fight moves, and that's kind of I like that page. So that page alone almost makes me want to pick up this book. And it's Cassandra Cain, right? Is the Batgirl? Do I have the name right? Okay. So that's a character that I I've always thought I need to read up on. I have her first appearance. I like her origin.
Yes.
So I've really, and I've seen her in things like Young Justice and enjoyed that character in like Young Justice. So I really feel like I should follow this character. This might be a good jumping on point for me to pick up something with this, with Cassandra Cain.
She's also been known as Orphan in the past with a different uniform, and I didn't really like that depiction of her. So I'm glad to see her back with the sort of the mouthpiece of the cowl actually being stitched closed, which kind of goes in line with her earlier appearances as being mute.
Yeah. Well, her language was combat, right? That's how she spoke. Yeah, it was kind of the premise of the characters, which I thought was an interesting premise. So my next thing's on 13.
13 for real, or is it? I'm betting it's 14 for me. So you go ahead.
Okay, so 13 is Poison Ivy number 14, just because we have a new villain alert. The villain, I'm assuming it's this character on the cover. And
looks like Bloom a little bit.
Couldn't come up with the name, but yeah, it kind of reminds me of Bloom from the New 52 Batman series. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bloom or Mr. Bloom?
Mr. Bloom. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, new villain alert.
New villain.
Go ahead, Mike.
So the next page is Wonder Woman number 1. I would say long awaited. I guess it hasn't been too long, but I've been anxiously awaiting this comic to be announced or to be promoted or solicited and put out. So Tom King's going to be the writer, and Daniel Sampere is the artist. Has a kind of almost I want to say a very recognizable, but also could be confused with Clay Mann and some other or Mikel Hanin. Very clean, just very pretty artwork. And the big news with this is that Wonder Woman's going to be introduced as having a daughter named Trinity, and I believe it's going to be in this issue, is it not? I'm looking through the little blurb here. I don't see mention.
Yeah, I don't remember reading that.
But I did hear that.
Okay.
So that may affect me on my decision as far as an investment pick too.
There you go. Okay. I like anytime we've talked about Tom King in the past, typically his stories, his writing I like, but there's always some little piece that bugs me about it. All right, and here's the piece. So if you read the solicit, basically there's an Amazon gets accused of a mass murder, so they pass a law that bars Amazons from coming into the United States. Okay, so obviously there's a little bit of political commentary there, which Tom King is kind of known for. But two, if that were to even happen, they are certainly going to give an exemption to Wonder Woman, even if all the rest of the Amazonians are barred from entry. So I kind of feel that's a little bit silly. Plus, that kind of storyline has already been done. Back during Siege, it was with the Asgardians instead of with the Amazonians. So that's my little diddling thing that's going to bother me as I sit here and read through this story. I will probably still read it. Let's see what happens.
The Amazon extradition entity.
Axe.
Yeah. This has also been done with the Amazon's Attack storyline. It's not, I don't think it's unheard of that there's back and forth on whether the Amazons are considered to have diplomatic status with the U.S. or relations with the U.S. I still put a lot of faith in his writing skills, and I think he hopefully will tamp down some of his tendencies to write something like it's outside of continuity and just kind of depict a character in a way we're not expecting. I think I hope he won't do that as much with such, in the regular title with such a one of the hallmark characters of DC.
Yeah, this is not listed as Black Label. This is not listed as a limited series. So theoretically, this is the Wonder Woman book,
Right.
So. Page 16. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's The Flash #1 and another reboot. It's because he and Diana both had hit their issue 800, landmarks or whatever, and now they rebooted with the Flash with a new writer, Cy Spurrier, and art by Mike Deodato Jr. I wasn't sure how I'd like his art, but I'm telling you, I'm looking at these samples and they look fantastic. I am as excited about this as I am about Wonder Woman, actually. So, I think this is going to be a little bit more, a little darker take on the character, which is ironic considering our earlier conversation. But yeah, I look forward to it.
Shad, you want to say anything about this book before I go off on it?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
So Warner Brothers DC is so excited about Barry Allen in the MCU that they come up with a new Flash book, and it's Wally West. Which I'm fine with it being Wally West, but it's a situation where somebody sees the Flash movie, and this never happens, by the way. Somebody sees the Flash movie, it's like, oh, there's a Flash comic book. I'm gonna go to read the Flash comic book. So they go into the comic book shop and said, hey, I want to get a Flash, Barry Allen. Well, there's a new Flash book out, but it's not Barry Allen. And the person turns around and walks out. So anyway.
You're right. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. But still, it's like they're obviously showing their confidence in Barry Allen by putting out a Wally West book. So,
and we can put out a whole episode on whether people should be brought back after they have died in the comics.
There we go.
At the top of my list of his death meant something in Crisis way back in 1986 or 85. He should have stayed dead because Wally was a great legacy character, and they didn't need to undo that.
Yeah. So, page 18. I'm only going to mention this. Power Girl's getting a #1 because I really like this 1 in 25 variant cover where it's like all of Power Girl's costumes that she's had like in the past. I assume it's got to be the majority of them if it isn't all of them. But there's actually a little bit better picture on the previews pull box site for this cover. But it is, I just think that cover's cool. Unfortunately, it's a 1 in 25. I'm not going to buy 25 copies of this to get that. So.
Well, I'll buy one. So
okay, so I'm not going to buy 24 copies of it just to get that cover. So.
Oh shoot! I guess I can look at some other stores.
Yeah.
I like the Gary Frank regular cover. I mean, it's Gary Frank.
You're right. Yeah. I mean,
I'd
be a good book, but I just was pointing out the cover.
Did you read the special by chance?
No.
By Leah Williams. She's Power Girls. I think we might have talked about this before, but her powers, her origins have changed over the years, and not always not always done well. And I'm not really on board with this one either. I'm not even on board or sure about Leah Williams as the writer yet. The jury's still out. I'll probably pick it up. It's #1 issue, and it's a character I really like. They need to
make her not Kryptonian. I mean, they just need to. She just needs to be Kryptonian.
Disagree completely. She needs to be Kryptonian, and all of those other Kryptonians that are in Superman and Action Comics need to go away. You've got Con-El or Connor Kent, whatever. All those they should have just left him in Gem World with Amethyst. They got too many. They should have left John Kent young to be truly a Superboy. Anyway. She, to me, is the first legacy character, if you want to go chronologically, even though Supergirl appeared before her. Timeline-wise, she's the Earth 2 Superman's cousin. She just didn't make it to Earth until later.
Right. Okay. You are correct. You are correct. No, I concede the point to you. You are correct. We should get rid of all the other Kryptonians. So, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Let me write that down. Let's see. I know. If I can jump straight to the next page with Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville. That cover. I don't know. Is that? Oh, it's Terry Dodson. No wonder I like it. Okay, yeah. I'll probably get that because of my affinity for the whole Justice League. The DeMatteis and
yeah,
Giffen, and
you look at that 1 in 25 variant. That is so Justice League.
Oh yeah,
Justice League right there.
I mean, Chad and I know about that pose. I mean, and but again, it's 1 in 25, so darn.
Yeah, tough to get. So, Blue Beetle #1. Hey, finally a comic book where somebody could go to the movies and watch Blue Beetle and say, "Hey, I would like to read Blue Beetle," and go to the store, and guess what they can pick up? They can pick up brand new #1 with Jaime Reyes, the character from the movie. Isn't that a terrific idea?
And it's around the same time the movie comes out, right?
Exactly. It's pretty. It's within. It's close. I think Blue Beetle's. Is Blue Beetle next?
Is it August or September release?
I don't remember.
August, I believe.
Okay, so it's a month afterwards. So people are. It's
close,
but
they can say, "Hey, come in next week. I will have a copy of Blue Beetle #1 set aside for you." That's all.
It's close, but I still don't understand why they can't line them up even closer. It's like it seems so easy.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's more about it actually is Jaime Reyes as opposed to.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not. It's not
yes.
Barry Allen.
I see Starfire is on the cover, so that's a cool inclusion, along with Ted Kord.
Isn't there some history with Starfire and the Scarab? Isn't there something like between those alien races? Vaguely, something that's like popping and just popped in my mind.
That's a big gap in my reading. The Jaime Reyes series from the 2000s. I didn't really read any of that, so that's quite possible.
Page 21, Green Lantern War Journal #1. We get a John Stewart Green Lantern book, and we also get a new villain, which they're doing this new villain alert and not telling us the names of the villains, but it's going to be an iconic and terrifying new villain.
I have a note here. I said I didn't take notes, but I did write in the catalog. How can you be iconic and it be your first appearance?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you have to earn that?
It's like a buzzword that we're just using.
Yeah.
But I did listen to a podcast where Philip Kennedy Johnson was interviewed about this series. So actually about his backups in the Green Lantern proper book, but what it's leading to in the War Journal. So I'm kind of excited about it as well.
I'm on 24.
Okay,
so 24, they don't put the new villain alert on Superman #6, but it says here, let me find it. Oh, the Lex Luthor has been keeping a prisoner beneath Stryker's Island for decades. Who are they? So we have this new character, at least. And then there's also mentions this character called The Chained, which you have the chains on the cover here. Which I think was previously introduced as part of either Superman #5 or not the Night Terror crossover story.
Mm-hmm.
So there if you are interested in the Chain, be looking for Superman 5 and those Night Terror books. And again, I don't know which one. And looks like there may be an additional new character in Superman #6.
They're really loading the Superman side of things heavy with new characters, it seems like, over the last couple of months, getting amped up for whatever this new event that is going to change everything next year for Superman.
No, they won't have another event that soon.
28.
Okay,
so we have Batman Gargoyles of Gotham. So this is written and drawn by Raphael Grandpa. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name incorrectly, who I know from drawing Berserker, the Matt Kent story.
Okay.
So this is the artist for Berserker. So I guess we'll find out if they can write or not. I've said that before because Jock did a Batman story and I never read it. So who knows if I'll actually read this one or not, but I will probably pick it up. And it also mentioned that we have an all-new Rogues Gallery. Now, I'm assuming that what that is going to be Raphael Grandpa's take on the existing Batman Rogues Gallery. But who knows?
Better get it just in case.
Just in case. Right.
And there is a new serial killer on the loose, is kind of the whole premise behind it, as there's a So that could be a character. I dig his artwork, and I am curious. I'm all for this. Is like one of a few books in the previews this month that are somebody got an artist writer pulling double duty. That's got me excited about a book, and this is definitely one of them. And it's coming out for Batman Day. But
okay.
Yeah, I was when I saw this one, I was like, all right, I'm interested in this. The coloring's great in these preview pages. It's definitely stylized in
a good way.
In a good way.
Okay. I like the noir edition cover myself.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not always like keen on the noir, but definitely this seems like the right book to do that in.
Yep. That's all I have in DC. So whatever else you guys have. So.
Page 38. Quick mention on a facsimile edition. Got Batman #1, and I like these facsimiles, even though you're paying $7 for it. It's still, it's an exact replica. I mean, to the point of, everything except for maybe some. Usually they take the 10 cents off of there, but then I see it on this copy here.
Well, and they do the slick pages now as opposed to
exactly. Yeah, instead of the cardstock or whatever it was, but still it looks really good. It'll be a good inclusion, and I'll put it in place of the real Batman #1 since I don't know that I'll get that.
Oh, I thought you meant you're going to swap it out.
Oh no, it'll hold that spot. I don't think I have anything else either.
You didn't want to talk about the Nick Cage Superman cover?
No, I seen that. No. No, it's another. Why can't they make that one in 25?
Yeah.
Because I don't want it.
Shad, you got anything else, DC?
No, I don't have anything at all. That covered everything.
Okay. All right, sweet. So let's see. Marvel. I got to get my Marvel catalog out here. Yeah. And then I got to find Marvel in my notes. Hey, there's Marvel in my notes. Okay. I'll talk first, and then you can talk about the catalog, and I'll let you guys talk about everything else. Captain America #1. All right. 4th of July. Perfect timing to talk about Captain America #1. Written by J. Michael Straczynski, who has had some really, really excellent stories in the past. I'm primarily thinking about like Thor. His run on Thor was really, really good. He had a decent run on Spider-Man that also had some pretty highly maligned stories for Spider-Man as well. So I am hoping we get the really, really good J. Michael Straczynski on Captain America. I assume this is probably going to be, at best, his run will probably last like 10, 12 issues. That kind of is where he tends to, putter out on stories. 4 characters. He usually doesn't have a very extended run, and I assume that since they're rebooting Babylon 5, that he's probably going to focus more on that than on writing comics. So I don't expect a real long run, but hey, Captain America, new book, single book, as opposed to the 2 Captain America titles that we were getting with Sentinel of Liberty and oh gosh, and that's a shame that
something about time.
Symbol of Truth.
Symbol of Truth.
Yeah. And Sentinel of Liberty. So now we're just going to have the one book. So.
And the artist is Jesus Saiz, one of my favorite artists. I don't normally get a bunch of Marvel books, but I'm definitely going to be getting this. I like the idea that it's not just going to be set in the current time. It's going to be past, present, and future, basically colliding, is what it says. So I'm interested.
I'll talk about 4 if nobody else wants to.
Go for it.
All right, so Predator versus Wolverine, 1 of 4. Hey, we've got a license to the Predator. Let's milk it for all we can while we've got it. So there you go.
The next 2 pages past that, I guess it's page 6, Avengers Incorporated #1, written by Al Ewing and art by Leonard Kirk. I don't know. This purports to be a different kind of Avengers book. I don't know. Can you speak to that at all, Scott? Have you any thoughts?
Not really. Other than it looks like they're gonna focus on some of the less primary characters is the only way that I can come up to describe this. You have all these kind of oddball characters on this cover, which I don't really think relates anything to the story on the inside. But you've got Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, who's, I don't know if she's been in anything recently of significance. Victor Shade, he's a bad guy, so it's definitely not going to be a regular book. Looks like it's going to be more of a mystery, or an international organization type of a story. So
yeah, the way it's written, and together they're out to solve every mystery in the Marvel universe, starting with their own. So Al Ewing's going to be pushing the pencil on this, or the typewriter. So I think it'd be worth taking a look.
Yeah, but again, Al Ewing to me is getting the reputation of somebody who can start a good story but can't finish it. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm good for a little while. Page 35 on my physical catalog. So
well, I got a few before then. Okay, so page 8, Daredevil #1, the Chip Zdarsky run on Daredevil has now finally concluded. Saladin Ahmed doing the writing, Aaron Cooter on art. So jumping on point for anybody who wants to start picking up Daredevil, who has been out for a while. Then on page 28, more nonsense. Classified #2, not the actual title, not the actual cover, right? But we're supposed to get more information in July. Well, I'm looking at my calendar, and I think it is July. So they told us this last month. I was expecting to see what this was all about this month. We don't actually get it. So
Nope.
Full
But go ahead and order it if you want it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll take your money. Actually, you can't even order it yet because they don't have order number for it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's just taking up a page in their book.
Exactly. I guess they needed to pad it just a little bit. So page 31, I made a note about this because Ghost Rider #8, there's this character here, Talia Warroad, and looks like a sidekick for Ghost Rider. I think I'm going to have to go try to pick up this character's first appearance. So I got a little note at the end of my notes to go pick this up, see more of what's going on with this character.
I better earmark this one myself.
Well, that's not a first appearance. So
I know.
Yeah, okay, all right. And then 30, what did you guys say? You were on 35? Okay, so I'm not till 36.
Chad, were you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Definitely. Okay. On 35, we have Werewolf by Night #1, written by Derek Landy and art by Fran Gallen. The only reason I mentioned is because I enjoyed the one shot last Halloween
special.
So the Halloween special. And yeah, I think it'll be worth a look.
And it's going to be on the shelves for Halloween. They're
Hooray!
doing it right. It's coming out in September.
What are the
yeah, I mean, there's a little side conversation from this, but do you think that we'll get another Halloween special? It was a surprise when we got Werewolf by Night. Will we
I
get
thought we
another
knew in
something?
advance that we were getting
Did
Werewolf
we?
by Night. Yeah, we knew in advance we were
okay.
getting Werewolf by Night. Now, I've not been following announcements, and of course, with everything going on writing-wise, but they have announced stuff further out than October, and I don't remember seeing anything for Halloween on the docket, which is a huge shame. I would like to see these characters back. So.
Yeah.
All right, page 36. I think we hinted at this last month, but we have Micronauts #1 facsimile edition. So Microsoft. I was combining Marvel and Micronauts. So
that's great.
I got Microsoft. So Marvel got the rights to finally reprint, Micronauts, and on the next page, ROM #1. So we're getting facsimiles of those, and later on, we'll talk more about ROM.
And you're sporting your ROM T-shirt in honor of this.
Yes, I am wearing my ROM T-shirt right now. I don't know that I'll buy the facsimiles because I already have multiple copies of both of these books, but I don't know. Maybe the blanks. I'll pick up the blank covers probably just to have a blank cover for artists that I like who might want to draw Micronauts or ROM. So, 38 to 41, we have more of these annuals that are the Contest of Chaos. So it's just basically two quote unquote good guys having to fight each other, which Venom and Deadpool, okay, the anti-heroes, Captain Marvel and Cyclops, Avengers and looks like Cersei. So I don't know who all is fighting in that one. Was there just a 3? Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Ghost Spider and White Fox. I missed the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not till 54.
I got 68.
Okay, well, 54. We have Marvel Unleashed. This is just the second issue. I mentioned it because written by Kyle Starks, who was at Berg Comics Con last year. So I just want to throw out his name. We'll mention his name again on the. Actually, I forgot to bring up Peacemaker on the DC side. I was going to say I'll mention later when we get to DC. We've already done DC, so backtracking to DC. Peacemaker, I think it's issue 5 was solicited this month.
I picked up issue 2, one of the variant covers at Heroes Con, and he signed it for me, so that was cool.
Yep. 81 is my next thing.
All right, I'm gonna flip fast to 68. 68 is I'm not probably gonna pick this up, but I wanted to make mention of it. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi #1. This is the adaptation of the Disney Plus series. I wasn't impressed with the adaptation of The Mandalorian, is why I say I'm not picking this up. But I will tell you that Phil Noto cover on 69, I absolutely love, and that would be the one thing that would make me pick this up.
Yeah,
I have never been a fan of comic book adaptations of TV and movie. I've never ever really picked those up.
Prior to these Disney Plus adaptations, the Star Wars ones typically will have an extended cut of. So you'll get part of the script that wasn't in the movie. And so that was what was really driving me. Like the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi adaptations they did had things in them that were not in the movie. They didn't end up doing a Rise of Skywalker one, though I was really looking forward to that because there were some pretty cool scenes that were cut out of that movie. But so I was going hard on the Mandalorian one, was expecting maybe a little bit more, and it was page for page was just exactly what the show was. So not exactly what I was looking for there. And I'm done with Marvel.
Okay, 81. This is Marvel's Halloween Fest comics. They've got a Star Wars High Republic, Moon Knight, Amazing Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and then for the younger ones, Spidey and his amazing friends. This is the Funko Pop looking versions of Spider-Man, but it's got Ghost Spider, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales Spider-Man. So I'll be picking up some of those again to pass out at Halloween. So page 84, we've got the ROM Omnibus. So it looks like they're going to do 3 of these because the series itself ran for 75 issues. This is going to print the first 29 and then Power Man and Iron Fist 73, which I guess is the first appearance of ROM outside of ROM. I wasn't for sure where that fit in the timeline of things, but ROM has a handful of appearances that are outside of his comic. He was in a Marvel. Was it a Marvel 2-in-1? He was on a cover of Avengers. So there's been some stuff here and there. So, but not a lot of appearances outside of the ROM proper title.
Bad joke incoming. I don't know why they didn't call it a Romnibus.
A Romnibus.
Oh, I like it.
I don't think that's a bad joke. I think that is a perfectly good idea.
Missed opportunity.
And yeah, so trademarked right there, Shad Schubert.
Right.
I'd really like to learn more about ROM. If only there was a podcast talking about it.
Well, if somebody wasn't so lazy, they would have a podcast for that. But that person's lazy and is having a hard time keeping stuff posted on eBay, let alone record a podcast. So
competing interests, right?
Yes. Yeah. Plus, I figure there's got to be somebody better at it than me, So I need to find that person, tell them you need to do a ROM podcast. 106, we have this is actually in the big catalog, but they put it here from Abrams Art. We have the Alex Ross Supervillains poster book. So if you really, really dug the covers, the villains covers, or previously the heroes covers, now they're doing a book for the villains covers. And what's cool is inside of this book, they actually have this 4-page gatefold poster that has the entire lineup of villains like as one mural. So that's kind of cool. They did that the heroes version as well. So, and then 111, there's an Echo trade, which actually is technically a Daredevil trade because it reprints a couple of storylines from Daredevil, her first appearances in issues 9 to 15, and then her next appearance 51 through 55. The cover of the book is actually from Daredevil number 10 by David Mack.
That's nice. That's really reasonable price too for that many pages. $35. That's
well, it's 10 issues basically. Yeah. So yeah, or actually I guess it's 11. 9 to 15, no, 12. It was like 7 and 5, so 12 issues. Yeah, and that'll be out prior to Echo, which I think is coming out in November on Disney Plus. I'm done with Marvel.
As am I.
Okay, we're gonna jump back to the Lunar catalog. So.
All my earmarks, my pages are dog-eared in the physical catalog. Okay. So that's what I have to go with.
Okay. Well, then let's do the few publishers that are Ahoy. Let's start with Ahoy. Can you get to Ahoy? Do you have anything in Ahoy?
I have one in Ahoy.
Okay. I think we're gonna talk about the same thing, but Shad, you go ahead.
All right. We got Project Cryptid. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So Project Cryptid is an anthology series from Ahoy following cryptids. This first one is going to be covering the Yeti and the Mongolian Deathworm. It looks like this is going to come out, I guess, monthly. It doesn't really say, but they're going to have 2 different cryptids that they're going to cover in each one. I think that's great because there's a lot of them that I think are cool, but I don't know a lot about, and so getting the visual aspect of the comic book with a little bit of a backstory is cool. They have Grant Morrison as one of the writers, but he is doing this prose thing at the end of a bunch of Ahoy books that is completely separate from the actual cryptid story. So don't let that fool you.
No. Do not be suckered in. So
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up too, pretty much for the same reasons, and there will probably be a few copies on the shelf at Muddy Monster Comics. Nice. So, Mike, are you gonna talk about Second Coming Trinity? Oh no, that's not a new series. That's not a new series. So never mind. I thought it was a new book. So
it crossed the line for me. That's why I didn't. I heard it wasn't as bad as.
All right, CEX I think is next in at least the thing that I have next in so I don't have anything from AWA. Anybody got anything AWA?
I was going to bring up Rumpus Room. It's written by Mark Russell. The premise is that this guy named Bob Shrunk, interesting name, he's a technocrat billionaire, collects bad art, and he has a skin condition that can only be treated with some FDA not approved face cream that must be harvested from human beings. So it's kind of a horror satire, which satires, Russell's, that's his gig. So it's maybe worth taking a look at.
I don't have anything from Black Mask either. Anybody got anything from Black Mask?
No.
Nope. Okay. I'll keep scrolling then. What's next in the Lunar? CEX. Okay. CEX, we have The Miracles. This is on page 24. To me, it looks like if you were a fan of Invincible, I feel like this is probably a follow-up book for you. You got a high school student coming into his powers. There's a back history with a comic book that he was a fan of that ended the day he was born. So might be somewhat interesting.
The design, the only reason I had it earmarked was because the design looked very reminiscent of Miracle Man, with the the M on the front of the uniform.
And there's a QR code preview. I didn't. They do have a few preview pages, so it's like varying art styles inside of the book, and could be interesting. I might give the first.
That's definitely one thing about the Next Phase book, the Lunar book, is with it being digital, you get a lot more preview pages. It seems like a lot larger artwork, and then they're even certain companies are providing QR codes to take you to even more preview pages.
There were quite a few QR codes in the Diamond catalog, so I think those would have been available either way. Yeah, but I guess with the digital, it's not as expensive as it is to print, all those catalogs. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anything in any publisher until we get to Image, so which is way down there, like in the 80s. So I guess I could mention Peacemaker.
Around page 86, I think.
Yeah, I'm on 89. Which is Edenwood #1. Tony Daniel, I guess this is his first solo series at Image in a while. You have I don't know, let's throw around some keywords: dystopian, multiversal war between demons and
Southern
witches.
Illinois.
Did it say that in there?
Yeah, he's the main character is born during the apocalyptic events of Southern Illinois.
Oh,
holy moly!
Okay. I missed that.
Oh gosh,
how did I miss that? Now I'm in.
Oh, I can't even believe it.
Wow. Okay. I totally missed that. I just looked at it and saw Tony Daniel, so that's worth mentioning.
Is it in this one?
That's why. Okay.
I don't know if it's even in the Next Phase version. I'm
okay. So it's not in the next. It's
in previews that it says Southern Illinois.
Oh no, it does. Okay, a young man born during the apocalyptic events of Southern Illinois. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a random spot to.
Yeah. Okay. So what's it going to be? You know what it's going to be? It's going to be the big earthquake. It's going to happen that we've been supposed to have for how many decades now? And the fault line is going to open up the multiverse to the demons and the witches coming pouring out of the fault line. So yeah,
the new Madrid fault.
The new Madrid fault. There you go. That's what it's going to be. Calling it right now.
Wow.
Double stamp.
And there is this whole premise is just a lot going on, and it either can do really well with that, or it's just going to fall apart like a weird Hickman story.
I'm going to lean towards it's going to fall apart, but I'm going to at least follow the first few issues just because of it saying Southern Illinois. So I probably wasn't even going to get this one, but now I'm in. Totally in. Somebody talk about Hexagon Bridge.
Hexagon Bridge. We've got some explorers that find themselves in a parallel dimension with shifting architecture and elusive landscapes. It reminds me of the moving bridges in Hogwarts, or the moving stairs in Hogwarts.
I was thinking more Inception.
The Diagon Alley.
Or that too, yeah. Yes.
Isn't that what it is? Oh, no, that's not the... Oh, that's right. It's train station number, 9 3/4 or something, yeah.
9 3, yeah. The artwork's really neat, though. This is one of those... Richard Blake is new to the comics world, and he's pulling double duty. Is one of those writer artists that I was talking about. I was kind of excited about what was going on here, and so yeah, I was like, I've never seen this name before, and then it was like I looked it up and it's like, oh, this is his premiere in the comics industry completely.
I guess is this character supposed to be robotic? I can't decide.
What page is it on?
So it's on 95. I don't know if that's the actual. It's page 95.
Okay.
And there's this. It looks like a robot handing a cup of.
Well, it says the clairvoyant daughter Adley and sentient robot Staden are rescuing the explorers.
But this is Gerardus, so maybe it's another sentient robot. I don't know. So
could be, yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So 101 is my next thing.
I'm at 110.
Okay, I see the page numbers now. I was like, I don't even see the page numbers on here. I am on 101. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Kill Your Darlings #1. is written by Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan. I was like, I know these names. I know these names because they do a podcast with Matthew Rosenberg, who's an writer who writes What's the Furthest Place from Here? One of my favorite books. I just got caught up this morning. And they do a podcast called Ideas Don't Bleed. And this is their first adventure out also. They're co-writing. They've been talking about through the whole podcast, like co-writing together, and they hadn't discussed what the name of the book was. And so when I saw this, I was like, I know these people. It's about an 8-year-old girl whose pretend world has a terrible evil in it and a history to the world that has begun centuries before her birth, which I love a good, like, imaginary land, dream world kind of story and where things go wrong with it. So I'm definitely in on this.
The one thing I'm going to say about this is the plot reminds me of, was it Barbie from Sandman, where she had her dream world? And that's what it reminds me of. I was like, man, where have I seen this story before?
Yeah.
And
that's a good pull.
Yeah, that's what I am equating this to. So 108. Shad, I'm sure you want to talk about 108 too.
Yeah, I own this book actually. I picked this up at the
okay.
This was the Kickstarter book that Jeff Lemire and Matt Kent did. And now it's being published through Image, called Cosmic Detective. I don't know if it's going to be oversized, but the version that I have is like this oversized hardback that I picked up from Matt Kent at SilkyCon. And and oddly enough, neither of them do the artwork in this book. It's a guy named David Rubin who does it. I haven't read it yet, but it is on my shelf, and it's the tagline is "When God is murdered, who solves the crime?" And I thought that was a pretty cool tagline to it.
I did not see this on his table whenever I was at Saluki. I guess I saw the mind management books. I guess I was distracted by that. That's what I picked up. So
I did have this earmarked as well in the book. Yeah, it's 208 pages too for $18. Yeah.
I did not realize that was a Kickstarter, so
I want to say that I'm happy that this Lunar Next Phase slash Next Phase, I guess that's the name of the catalog, right? You can actually search the PDF, whereas you could never with the
Diamond.
The Diamond ones, yeah. So I can actually search in the one I'm looking at in the physical catalog and find it on this PDF. So I'm talking about on page 110. It's Jack Kirby's Star Warriors. It's the adventures of Adam Star and the Solar Legion, and these are adventures that I believe were. I don't know if some of these weren't published originally. Some of these are new, some of these are reprints. I don't know.
So as I understood it, because I saw this and I had to do a little bit of research. As I understand it, there was an adventure, which was 5 pages, that was written and drawn by Jack Kirby many, many years ago. So you have Tom Scioli, who did My Life in Art, Jack Kirby, something. I can't remember the exact title of that book that he did. So he did a book about Kirby. So apparently he's taken those 5 pages, and you can just search online for Star Warriors Kirby. You can actually see all 5 pages of the artwork, and you can see when they look at the preview pages next, right, where I guess Scioli is going to expand upon that, and maybe either it looks like the 5 pages are stretched into more than 5 pages. So even if it's doubled, there really probably has to be, this is a 32-page book, probably at least 22 pages that are Scioli and maybe 10 that are Kirby. But yes, it does look pretty interesting.
Yeah, for its historical merit, just to see something from Kirby's past.
Yep.
Right after that, I have a mention here for Rat Queens, a one-shot called Rat Queens Sisters, Warriors, Queens. And I only mention it because I read that first volume of this story, and this is like a 10-year anniversary prestige one-shot. So I love this. This is the most one of the most irreverent, kind of raunchy, kind of crazy. It was really good, and I'm gonna pick this up again to see if it's held up.
I guess 147 is my next thing.
I don't even know where I'm at.
We're still in Image.
So you can go ahead.
Okay, so 147.
I'm done with Image. So
okay, just Firepower issue 27, and then 187, which I believe is the last page for Image. So all the Transformers fans, be forewarned, next month Transformers will be in the Image portion of whatever catalog you're able to find that has upcoming comics. And I don't know if they're only teasing Transformers, but I assume G.I. Joe will be probably soon after that. So, but yeah.
I can't remember what there was a timeline in the Void Rivals book in the back of it.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was, but I do remember it being staggered, I think.
Okay, that makes sense. You shouldn't want to like unload everything and then people lose interest right away. So you got to spread it a little bit. So yeah,
did you read Void Rivals, Scott?
No, you know me. I bought 4 or 5 copies of it, and they're all sitting in a pile.
Did you know it was a launch for all of this when you bought it? I didn't think it was announced, right?
It wasn't. No, I just saw, what was it? Kirkman's new project, and I bought it just in case it becomes something. And yeah, who knows? Maybe it will become something. So
I was talking trash about it. Me and Atch were talking about it, and I was talking trash about Kirkman and being a wonder kid, and then he let me borrow the book, and I was like, no, this is a backdoor intro into the Transformers coming to Image. This is crazy.
At least I won't read it anymore. I couldn't even figure it out. I'm like, what's the big news here? I thought it was something to do with this. I seen the one character had looked like a Mind Stone, like vision in his forehead. I'm like, what? Oh, is it something connecting to that? I don't know. Tells you how much I know about Transformers.
I'm on 223.
Still under Image?
Nope.
Nope. I got Mad Cave before that.
Okay, go ahead.
On 191 is Crusader #1 from Mad Cave. This is written and drawn by Matt Emmons. This is not a book I would normally pick up. It's about a Templar knight transported into a dangerous realm with a goblin-like creature as his guide. But Matt Emmons was at Heroes Con, and I got to talking to him, and I really liked his artwork and bought a bunch of stuff from him based on some of his indie books. And so I'm going to definitely pick this up based on just my interaction and what I've seen from this guy.
I had it marked in the catalog as well, in the Diamond catalog. But I marked it because the Crusader idea, that theme, that historical type fiction, I think is right up my alley. I don't know that I know this Matt Emmons, but sounds like you give him a big thumbs up.
I give him a giant thumbs up. I got T-shirts, I got hats, I got art prints, I got all kinds of stuff from him.
All right.
I spent over $100 at this booth.
Wow. Okay. I'm on 223 still. So.
I'm so confused.
I'm somewhere in Scout, but I don't. I'm at 220.
220.
Okay. Is Fungi #1? Is about a world inhabited by humanoid mushrooms who have created a society that resembles the feudal Japan or ancient China, and follows a group on a quest for forgiveness, revenge, and honor. So it's sentient mushrooms. It's just weird. I thought I would bring it up.
All right, title that wins the catalog this month, page 223, also from Scout. Mom Breaks the Internet. Issue #1.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Now, it's not as ridiculous as it sounds, but you have a mother who has a 15-year-old daughter. She's a computer programmer. She gets laid off from her job the same day her daughter gets arrested at a protest. So basically, she is now sick of playing by the rules. So she gets a bunch of other moms together, and they're gonna force the world to change through their sadness. So I'm gonna have to try the first issue of this. Who knows if I'll go past that? But yeah, absolutely pick up the first issue. 238.
I think you're good on my side. I can't read page numbers in the vault section, but I'm at the very end.
Okay, so let's see, Cthulhu, Death May Die. So for anybody who's a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, here's another. There's some other like Miskatonic book that I think is Cthulhu related, but here's a number one Cthulhu book that you could pick up and, for Cthulhu. So yeah, what can I say? Cthulhu. And then, I don't know, 240, is that where you're at?
245 is where I'm at.
Okay, I'm just going to mention these every month as long as they keep putting them out. I still haven't read the first one yet, which I should have someplace. Murder by Mail. Yeah, that's that little RPG adventure inside of a comic. So issue 4 solicited. I think I'm done.
Okay.
I don't know where to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're okay. 245 from Vault is a book called Lone. We have a number 1 for. It's about a little girl who realizes that the lake her town is named after has disappeared and no one remembers it, which I thought was kind of a cool concept. More things start to disappear and she worries that she might be the cause of the disappearance. I like the artwork. I don't think I've seen this artist before, but it reminds me of a book called was it Momo or Mamo or something like that I had read from Boom that came out a couple years ago. And so that was a neat concept.
I do have a few more things that weren't in the Lunar catalog. So I don't know if there's anything else you guys have in the Lunar catalog.
I have things in the Diamond catalog. They may also be in the Lunar catalog, and I just haven't found them. So
okay, well let's just rapid fire then. So I'll go first, then you will just alternate. So from Ablaze, there is Almost Dead number 1. I think this is meant for people who miss The Walking Dead and are looking, because it's basically set in 2005. The world goes crazy. How are people dealing with the world? So Almost Dead from Ablaze.
Chad, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. From Boom, and page 38 on the big book is Rare Flavors number 1. There was a little ash can for this, I think, last month. The team behind The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. It's about a demon who wants to become the next famous chef and enlists a documentarian to film the journey as he goes through trying to be a cook instead of a demon.
I thought you would have that one earmarked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. I did, in case you didn't. Thanks. I've got in Boom as well Firefly, the Fall Guys, and I marked it here because I thought Scott might be interested.
I'm done with Firefly.
You're done? Okay, moving
done.
on.
I'm done with Firefly.
I gave up.
Yeah. All right. From Keen Spot Entertainment, we have Kid Slapshot versus Lou Nutik. And the reason why I'm mentioning this book is because the G cover has cover art by Southern Illinois' own Matt Miller. So Matt Miller does the cover for the G cover for Slapshot versus Lunatic. So absolutely got to put that out there. So
that's under what publisher?
That's under Keen Spot Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So Matt's done the artwork for my convention before, and yeah, he has a very unique style. He does, and he can draw on lots of different styles, but he kind of has his own thing, and he'll mix it up every once in a while just to keep himself entertained, right, and fresh. But yeah, and then he also, I'll just go ahead and mention this, he did a parody book called Fubar and Dunwich, which is a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes total parody ripoff thing. He freely admits it.
Fubar, that's a strange name.
Yeah. So, and it was, by the way, he had that title before the Netflix series came out. So,
yeah. Well, you know what the acronym means.
Fouled up beyond all recognition. Yeah.
That's the PG version of it.
Yeah, the PG, the non-explicit version. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, had to mention that one.
Yeah. Nice. Under Ablaze, which I noticed I had earmarked the same title you had, that
Almost Dead.
Almost Dead. Yeah. I plan on getting that. Mighty Barbarians #6. Don't know anything about this title, except there is a cover D variant that is an homage or a parody cover of the New Teen Titans #1. That's something that catches my eye. So for the completest of homage covers, I will probably pick that up just because I like to have those kinds of things. Because I got room for it. And Shad, they have that Children of the Black Sun that came out in trade, the first volume. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was looking. I was organizing my books recently, and I was like, did I get all of those? So I got to look back and see, because I know I've got like the first 3 at least, but I couldn't remember if I kept ordering it or not. But I enjoyed the first issue, I know for sure. I got back in Boom. I've got the Hunt for the Skinwalker #1, and this is based on a true story about the Gorman Ranch, which is a place with over 50 years of significant paranormal activity documented. I guess there was an actual book, a nonfiction book that was written a few years back that this is kind of inspired to do this little book for. So I'm thinking I might pick this one up. I like a good little spooky story, especially one that's got some trueness to it and some paranormal activity.
My last thing is Parker Girls from Abstract Studios. This is the Terry Moore stuff. He did Rachel Rising, Strangers in Paradise, Serial. Well, this is the final issue of Parker Girls.
Yep, I've seen that. I don't know if it's my last thing, but I've got earmarked here Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, #1.
Yes.
In the spirit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it's
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Vampire Slayer, right? I love those kinds of mishmash of actual historical figures designed or written to be supernatural. Not supernatural themselves, but they fight the supernatural. So that seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that the concept being that the slave owners can't stop Harriet Tubman, so they enlist vampires and werewolves and witches and demons to stop her because she's so unstoppable as this ninja warrior. Is cool. There was this and important to note because that's coming out of Massive, is that at the very beginning of previous catalog, they have a kind of a disclaimer that Massive has taken on Whatnot Publishing, Sumerian, Overlook, and Kingwood Comics. So they have merged into Massive. So if you look at, I've got some books from Sumerian and Whatnot. Obviously, we've talked about that. So that kind of is where all those imprints, I guess, live now, is underneath that publisher.
Yeah, I was confused a bit by seeing Sumerian at the bottom of the page and seeing Massive at the top or the side or whatever. Right. But hey, I just rolled with it.
Just roll with it. Yeah, absolutely. From Dynamite, we've got another new Disney book. We've got Negaduck #1, who is Darkwing Duck's biggest foe. He gets his own comic series for the first time ever. The premise behind it's pretty good, I guess, for this comic is essentially he's in a predicament where all of his ideas for his mastermind ideas get taken by all the other criminals in the city, and he has to figure out why that keeps happening. So just a fun little series. I'm really enjoying what Dynamite's doing with the Disney line over there.
It's the one part of Dynamite that I do pay attention to when I'm,
Yeah.
Scott, you said you were finished?
Yep, I'm done. I don't have anything else.
On page 261 of the big book, I'm trying to see what the publisher is here.
The Dark Horse still?
Goodness gracious. It's the Great British Bump Off trade paperback. I mention it because it's actually the collection of a series that one of the interviews I did for the Roadshow, this series was recommended to me, at least the first 2 issues, which I purchased, and I read them and I liked them. So I'm going to go ahead and get the whole trade, and I'll probably just review the trade when that time comes. So it's nice. Agatha Christie style murder mystery set in the world of English competitive baking.
And that was Dark Horse, by the way, and in that same realm, I got a couple of books in the Dark Horse area. Page 257 is Masters of the Universe: The Forge of Destiny. If you pay attention to Masters of the Universe and the crossover with the Netflix cartoon, this is a prequel to the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelation TV show that's coming up. And then on 259 is Tear Us Apart #1. Which is about a cult that trains children to be assassins, and two teenagers that are in this training fall in love and have to escape to try to be together, which I thought was a kind of cool Romeo and Juliet meets a weird messed up murder cult. Kind of thing.
It could be under IDW. It could be something else. I don't know, but I'm looking at Bill Sienkiewicz. Mutants and Moon Knights Artisan Edition hardcover. It's a 172-page art book, 8x12 size, and it's $40, and it's full color. So I love Sienkiewicz, and it just is. If I'm going to get an art book, it's probably going to be something like his and something that's in full color. Page 271 of the big book. Mm-hmm. It's like they're purposely not naming the publishers. Are they trying to punish some of them or what?
That's still Dark Horse.
It's
just that I think we're used to the back of the book being so, like, the sections being so small, but IDW and Dark Horse still cover, or it's IDW, sorry.
IDW, okay.
But they take up so many pages and they don't mark them on the side at all. So it's a little all over the place.
It's inconvenient, and you know how I love that.
On 315, there's a book called Signal 29. It's a one-shot, and it is kind of a ground level version of a zombie outbreak story, very isolated, about two medics in New Orleans who respond to a call about a dead body that ends up being the patient zero and isn't so dead from that. So I thought that was a cool idea for just a one-shot that's coming out of Blood Moon Comics.
On page 288, going backwards a bit here, and it's under Anyone Comics. So thank you, Diamond, for at least putting that on there. It's it's the second issue of this, but I never seen the first one, but it's called Millennials, You Are Special #2, ironically titled. I think that's hilarious. You know, it's just sort of a commentary on, you know, that whole generation. Chad, I'm sorry. Are you a millennial?
Yes, I am. I was
sorry.
I was getting ready to be like, I take offense to that.
Sorry. You're special. All right.
I got I think really my last one's on 350 is a reprinting or an omnibus of Stephen King's The Dark Tower Beginnings. It's a large collection of the Marvel series with art by Jay Lee, who we got to see at Heroes Con. And I will be bringing up some of the people that I met because that was exciting.
What page was that again?
It's on 350.
50, okay. I love Dark Tower.
So yeah, and that it's interesting to me that that's being printed by someone else and not Marvel. Makes me wonder where the license is kind of floating around for that, because they never did finish the adaptation of The Dark Tower, and I'm guessing probably never will, but makes you wonder when you see it show up in the catalog again.
Yeah. I think my last one is under Tomorrow's Publishing, back issue number 148. It's a blast off with DC Superstars of Space. Now, I remember getting the actual DC Special or DC Superstars, whichever anthology title that was. It did a lot of reprints of space characters, you know, everything from Adam Strange, probably Space Cabbie and Tommy Tomorrow and things like that. So I think that would be a lot of fun to pick up. And that closes the book for me. Thank you.
Me too.
All right. So what are you looking forward to then, Mike?
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking for, it's going to be Wonder Woman #1, which DC Connect came out with 2 catalogs.
They do that sometimes, yeah.
This one has the Wonder Woman cover.
What's cool is in the Lunar catalog, they actually show you both covers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Shad, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to, I think not many. No, there's nothing new that's coming through that I was really excited for, but I think the Kill Your Darlings from Image, that #1 is probably my thing that I'm looking forward to the most out of the new #1s this month.
There's several things I'm looking forward to. Of course, we got the new Captain America run with J. Michael Straczynski. That could be great. That could be terrible. Who knows? But and then now that you pointed out Southern Illinois on
Edenwood.
On Edenwood, yeah, that kind of has me interested, and yeah, that I could actually go on. There are several others I could say that I was looking forward to. But I'll stop at those two. I'll stop at those two. Yeah, I'll stop at 2. All right, Mike, you got an investment pick?
I was going to say Wonder Woman #1 because I thought that's where Trinity, her daughter, was going to be appearing, but I'm not so sure. So name the new villain alert of the month. One of those,
Well, you know what?
Superman #6.
You could always go out on a limb and say, I'm, picking this one as a wild card. There you go.
That's what I do then. Okay, Wonder Woman #1. Get it? you will get dividends.
Shad, what about you? You got a money pick?
Yeah, I think if there's anything that looks potentially promising, if it does well, Edenwood #1 would be my pick. I mean, it has like I said, it either has the potential to come together really well and be a really cool thing. I mean, Noctera's done really well, I think, for Tony S. Daniel with him and Scott Snyder. And so this could be a really cool thing for him. Potentially could end up leading to something that becomes a movie or a TV show. I know Noctera, I think, is optioned at the moment. They're working on that one being adapted. But just could be a successful book. So I would say Edenwood.
Okay. I'm going to throw out a couple, and I don't really feel strongly about either one of these, but they kind of have some potential. The first one is Hexagon Bridge. I can imagine that people are looking for a series that feels like Inception, and this, to me, initially kind of has that Inception feel. Maybe too tough to do on the special effects, though, for it to really take off. And then the other one, just because of the title alone, Mom Breaks the Internet, I could see this, absolutely being adapted to like a 6-issue, TV series. So, and I don't think it would be too terribly tough to replicate it as well. So I don't think it's going to be heavy on special effects. So definitely something that could get optioned. And I think some stuff from Scout Comics has been optioned before. So I'm going to pick up a few extra copies just in case. So. Yeah. So, Shad, what do we got coming up on episode 165?
On 165, we're going to be covering Molly Danger by Jamal Igle, and we're going to be introducing a new segment or a new thing called the First 5, where we read the first 5 appearances of a character. We will be spotlighting Wonder Woman this time.
First 5 sounds like a comic title in and of itself.
Well, there you go. It pulls double duty.
Maybe somebody will listen to our podcast segment and then be inspired and create a comic book based on us.
There we go.
Or let's hope not. They can do better than us.
Exactly.
Mike, somebody besides podcasts at birdcomics.com, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how would they do that?
2 things. I've got my personal email, which is matchison90 @gmail.com, and I'm on Twitter as Mike Atchison 5.
And when's your next episode of the Mike Atchison Comic Roadshow, better known as Mars, going to be available?
It's probably a good time to tell people, that's your personal favorite acronym for the Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow, which doesn't actually line up that way, but for fun, I go along with it. Mars, I've got an episode that's been recorded. The review of the book has been recorded, and it was an extra long session, so editing has taken me some time, especially when you're sort of OCD like me, and I'm going in there and, Anyway, as soon as it's edited, I expect to get it over to your trusty hands in the next week or so, Scott. And I hope it's out in a couple weeks or whatever. And I'm actually recording an episode tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, Chad, if somebody wants to reach out to you, where would they do that at?
You can find me on Facebook at Shad Schubert. That's ShaadSchubert. And just want to plug the new release from my band, Shad and Thomas. Where Did Things Go Wrong? So go check us out on Spotify, iTunes, all those things. We're on there.
And if you hadn't mentioned it, I was going to. So,
well, thanks. I listened to it.
I haven't. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't listened to it yet, but it's on my list. It's on my list of things to do. So I will. So soon. Cool. Soon. I have listened to that little 2-song disc that you did several times.
So, yeah.
So, and I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com. BURG Comics has lists to all my social media, eBay store, and the like. And we'll be back soon with another episode.
Too many files to open up here. I know, I was thinking we probably have to reorganize the way we do previews and like set it up by publisher at a certain point and just like ignore it because it seems like the big book's just going to reorganize things however it wants to these days. We'll just keep doing DC, Marvel, and everything else or whatever. Yeah, that's what I figure anyway because of course the Marvel book is still separate. Yeah, and then and it's easy to pull out the DC stuff from the Lunar one. I primarily use the Lunar catalog. Did you? Yeah, I only have a handful of things from the Diamond catalog that weren't in Lunar, so. Yeah. You're on mute. I know, Bob's talking to himself. Well, that's why I didn't know if you. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't a little worried. I was like, what if he's talking to himself about it? All right. Cool. Before I forget, Shad. Yeah. I really like the song, but then it got me thinking: is he speaking rhetorically, or is there a good story behind this title? Where Did Things Go Wrong? Yeah. As a title, it is. No, there's not actually a super good story. It's just kind of like a reflection of the world. Okay, yeah, that was really kind of. Because you can take it so many different ways. I mean, yeah, and I liked how. I mean, he was all instrumental until the very end. The plan with that was also like once we figured out the title was like, oh, I want to find an old picture of the two of us as the cover that has us doing something goofy, as I did find, and then you can kind of go, where did things go wrong with these two? Like, so was Thomas dressed up as underdog or what? I think it was just that he was big into superheroes and everything. I wanted to find one. He used to have a go-kart, and we would Batman and Robin around the yard in the go-kart, but there's no photos of that. There was a second version of that album cover, which is I don't know if you guys are familiar with the rapper Coolio, but he had done up my hair in little twists, little like ponytail twists, and had done some like had a little goatee, and I was holding up the album cover, or holding up the album for Coolio's. I can't remember the name of the album, but that was the other one. But we were like, well, that might be a little weird, and it's got somebody else's album cover on the album cover, so we went with the other one.